In the future, in the next 20 years, most of job replaced by robots. Some job in that make that is maybe repeats every day. Some job is repeat, maybe replaced by robots. So in the industry, there are a lot of jobs they can repeat every day. So I think robot can help people to do a lot of job. Yeah,
Yeah, of
and
course.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that
just, they can repeat. You mean it's a repeating process, you mean? It's a
yes,
repeating so
that
I want to
that
give you a good word.
oh yeah.
Recurring. Recurring means repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, it's actually recurring, like,
Mm,
process. Recurring
mm.
process means repeating process.
Oh yes.
Yeah, of course. So recurring, that is repeating. Yes. And yes, however, it's thought that around 35 of current jobs are at risk, over next 20 years from automation. The job most at risk include call center workers and telephone sale people, basic accounting roles such as bookkeeping and routine secretarial work. At-risk jobs also tend to be those which are outsourced, and so businesses are starting to compare the cost of outsourcing with the cost of using robotic software and hardware. In study by the management consultancy Deloitte called "The Robots Are Coming," it's estimated that an offshore full-time worker is 35% cheaper than a worker based in the UK. However, a robot could be around 90% cheaper. Unlike humans, robots also work out 24/7 with very few errors. Good.
Yeah.
That is really good, actually. Well,
Yeah.
how do I know if my job is at risk from robots in the future? So let's see. At work, do you need to complete the same task every day? So let's tick. Yes.
Yeah.
Complete the same task every day.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
mean
So you
recurring.
need, yeah, of course, negotiate with clients.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
Work in
think is
small. Yeah,
that
it's
that was because when when re uh reaction with people, robot very hard to can do it, and very
you
hard
mean
to.
when it comes to interacting,
Yeah.
interact. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course, when it comes to interacting with people, like, communicating, yes, maybe
Yeah.
they're not really good. Yes, so this one, no. And work in small spaces.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Robot can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, robots. And actually, I'm asking you about something else. If you do, you need it at workplace or no. For example, your job, if you
Mm-hmm.
work in small, so if yes, maybe in the future, your job, or for example, your position, would be
Mm,
replaced by robots.
mm, mm,
So
mm, mm.
work in
Yeah.
small spaces, yes. Help
Yeah. Yeah.
other people.
Mm, I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And
Yeah.
assemble object. How about this
Can
one?
you explain me about the example? What
Assemble,
does it mean?
assemble.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. The meaning is bring things, together. For example, I have different actually pieces of one thing, then I put them together.
Uh,
So to build something. So it can be,
yeah.
of course, for example,
Yeah.
let me say something.
Yeah.
You can also use it for as organizing
Yes.
a team. So it can be
Yeah.
used for people or things. So it's like,
Yeah.
just bring something or someone, people together. Well,
Yeah. Kind of it reach
yeah,
from robots in the future.
yeah. And should people like convince them? Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
maybe.
Maybe write report and work on
Yes,
spreadsheets. Yeah, I
yes.
think so. And have no ideas and be creative. Definitely no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
maybe robot can help to brainstorm and suggest some idea.
yeah,
But
of course.
but
Yeah.
in yeah but in finally it must be make decision by human.
Of course, because actually, as you said, yes, they can maybe they're really good at analyzing data, but of course, the data and information that you provide that is provided by human. So that is,
Yeah.
I think, about being creative. They can't be because, yeah, of course, they're perfect, especially when it comes nowadays, when it comes to AI, it's perfect. But
Mm.
finally, it's something created by human mind, human brain.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe not this one. Well,
Mm.
so we can say that if you mainly take the numbers, your job is at risk. If you take
Yeah.
the even numbers, your job is probably safer. So yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I think most of jobs. So because of this, I think we need to forget about all traditional actually methods and maybe businesses. So we need to move on to and keep going with some modern method, not exactly using robots, but of course we need
Mm.
to because technology is really fast paced. So we need to do
Mm.
something. If we stay in the current level with
Yeah.
tradition and traditional method, of course, we can't keep going.
Mm.
Okay, tell me about your job. So, do you make any use of robots?
Sorry.
In your job, do you use them? Do you make any use of robots?
Yeah, I don't have any robot, but I think ah I use some AI. I think AI maybe work in the some task it work like a robot.
Of course.
For example, make a report, make a daily report or make a weekly report automatically.
Yeah.
So I think it's a robot.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
Kind of. So, yeah, we use AI.
Yeah.
And so, as more robots are used in future, how might your industry be affected?
I think in the future robots will affect in a lot of industry and video game, yes, will be affected by robot. But video game is entertainment industry, so I think some type robot cannot replace because sometimes it's idea and creative it have to be done by human. So I think it's a conclusion that robot can replace about 40 to 50%
Yeah.
of job. Yeah,
Of course,
in our
actually,
industry. Yeah.
yeah, of course, I think so. For the fields and industries and jobs which
Yeah.
require creativity,
Yeah.
robots, I think they can find a good place as human because it's
Yeah.
totally different. Finally, the
Yeah.
robots they do what is organized and planned.
Yeah.
Well, and according to the article, what kind of financial saving could be made by using robots? So let's see. According
Yeah.
to this, yeah, of course, especially
Mm.
So of course, workforce, and they can work 24/7, and of course they're cheaper, as you can see.
Yeah. Also cheaper 35%.
Of course, of course.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and okay, however, a robot could be around a robot that a robot however a robot could be around 80 90 cheaper. 90 cheaper
Of
means
course.
with the cost of robot, right?
Yeah, of course. Actually, here, when we say the person, okay, let me find this. So 90, yeah, the robot could be around 19% cheaper. So in different aspects.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course. Why? Look, full-time work. So, look, it's estimated that an offshore full-time worker is 35 cheaper than a worker based in UK. However, a robot could be around 90%. We are talking about full-time worker, 90% cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, they can work 24/7. So, I think because of this, for example, especially in some countries like China, they tend to use robots more than human. So
Yeah.
well, but I think, as you said, that especially about your job, that is a part of the entertainment industry. Some stuff, can't really be replaced by robots. So you shouldn't be worried about it. Well, okay, let's keep going. Employees. So let's see. Okay, employer gives away classic car company to employees. So let's see. First, let's read it. But before it, let's have a look at questions. Why were the employees at Classic Motor Cars surprised? Why didn't the owner sell it to another company? How will the fee company be organized? And why does Luke Martin think employees will work a little bit harder? So let's read it. Okay, 60 employees, including 7 apprentices, received quite a surprise when they arrived at work the other day. They all work for Classic Motor Cars, a business set up in 1993. Owners and employers Peter Newmark and Nick go through around their plans for retirement and then went on to say that instead of selling the profitable business, last year's turnover was 5.2 million pounds. To new owners, they would give the company to the employees. Oh, Peter Newmark said that he couldn't think of a better set of owners to run the firm. The new company will be run as an employee ownership trust, which means that each member of staff owns shares in a company. There is an operational board in charge of the day-to-day management, but all staff have a say in the running of the company. Luke Martin, who was first employed by the company as an apprentice 12 years ago, summed up the feeling. We are all a bit shocked. It took a while to sink in. And we've got this amazing opportunity to put ideas on the table and shape a business. That is really interesting. And ex-employer Peter Newmark with the new employee owner. So you can see here, it gives everyone drive to work a little bit harder when it's your own business. The company plans to continue growing and will offer apprenticeship and new employment to 6 people every year for the next 3 years. And they will start as normal employees and then join the trust after a certain period of time. That is perfect. Wow. So like, how they do this? Yeah, that is really good. Actually, it's really good. I think it's perfect strategy, but to do it, so I think you should be some like brave, and I don't know, that's so different. So it's actually your own company, and then you can easily. Well, so the first question, why were the employees at Classic Motor Cars surprised? The answer is because the owners
They arrive at work.
Why the surprise? Why they were surprised? Because actually the owners decided to give the company to the staff. So that is really interesting. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And of course, because of this, of course, they were really surprised at how it comes. So, and so let me ask you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
I read more detail. So
ah
that means the owner of the classic motor car retired, right?
yeah.
The Peter Newmark and
Yeah.
Nick Go. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that is like after retirement, say
Yeah.
they want their employees run the company. So it's like that everyone can have a share. So that is good. So everyone can be an owners in the company. So because of this, so of course, everyone want to have this, a big company, and of course you can have share. So that is perfect. And of course, it can be really surprising for staff because we normally don't have this strategy in companies and factories. Yeah, so look.
Yeah.
Here, they would give the company to the employees. Peter Newmark said that he couldn't think of a better set of owners to run the firm. Employees are the best. Well, and why didn't the owners sell it to another company? Of course, I just gave you the answer.
Because I think he think that the employee can continue grow the firm.
Yeah, of course. Like, who is better than employee and the actually staff who worked. And of course, And the next one, how will the new company be organized?
The company plan to continue grow, which will offer apprentices.
Apprentices, of course, apprentices.
What did it mean?
Okay, so let's talk about apprenticeship and apprentices. Okay, so we have, Well, about apprentices, okay, that is, apprenticeship is a period, okay, a period of time. So, but when in American English, especially, it comes to someone or people learning a job from actually a senior. For example, I am an expert and I teach you. So if I want to give you a good synonym, I say intern or trainee, people who learn. Yes. And apprenticeship is a period duration. Yes.
That mean the plan they will offer the apprenticeship and new employee to 6 people every year. So after
Okay.
that they can work normal.
Yeah, okay. So actually, let me show you because I just, saw the sentence here. Like, yes, actually, the new company or the new organization is something like they, will have an employee ownership organization. So it's everything is related to employees. So that is really good. And yeah, it's like a kind of employee ownership trust. So that is, of course, I think it's a good organization, and I would go for it. So I think it's really good if companies can do something like this. Well, okay, the next question. Why does Luke Martin thinks employee will work a little bit hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
So why?
Yeah, I'm reading.
Of course, I'm reading too. Oh, I just found a phrase here.
I think it's maybe from the feeling of employee when they are employee become the owns of the company. That mean maybe they have to change their mindset when they do their work.
Well, of course, it's their own business. Of course,
Yeah,
they will. Yeah, yeah. Of course, they will work a bit harder, because they need to actually develop and grow something that is their own. So of course,
yeah,
it's a little difficult and more challenging.
yeah,
Here, actually, we have something like this phrase, operational board.
yeah.
There is an operational board. So let's see what it is,
Mm,
what actually it stands for. Actually, this is
mm,
like a group of top level managers. It's called
uh-huh.
operational
Mm,
board, a group of
mm,
top level managers. But let's
mm,
see, for writing is perfect. Okay, it's really
mm,
good for writing. And of course,
mm,
it's not operational board is not super common in American English, especially in everyday American business talk. So we
yeah,
have different phrases that you can also use. Okay, so of course, operation or operations board, this is more natural, but normally when talking, okay, so operational, formal
mm,
writing,
mm,
operation leadership team is better. So operations leadership teams, this is exactly the same what we normally
mm,
use
mm,
actually in speaking. So, but both of
mm,
them, of course, good, perfect.
yeah.
So just, yeah. Well, and now you tell me, what do you think? So, do you think, first, have you ever experienced something like, working for a business or a company actually that gives you a part of your company in the future? So what do you think about, have you ever experienced something like this, worked in business? Have you ever
Can you
owned share
ah
this?
it's the first question, right?
Of course, yes.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I have experience work in my own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and in the next question, as an employee, do you think it would change your attitude
Attitude to
to
working, of
to
course,
work
definitely
for company?
yes.
Yeah,
Definitely yes.
yeah. It's yeah, it impact into the mindset of employee. So I think ownership is very important with every employee. It's maybe it not only the shareholder, but also they feel ownership. That means they do it and do anything with for themselves. So yeah, so they can see their idea in their product and in their work.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to change the opportunity attitude of employee. Yeah, very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, of course, that is, it can be really motivating. It can be
Yeah.
really motivating, yeah, for employees. Yeah, very good. Well, and now, do you think this kind of employee ownership could work in every type of business?
Mm, do you think it? I think yeah, I'm not sure, but I think when I work in a creative product and we make creative product, I think the ownership very important in the creative product. But I think yeah, but I think any every people who the employee they work in creative or in build product, they always want to be they need ownership, because they in my experience, the employee they feel ownership when they can see their idea in the product. for for
Yeah,
for for example, uh, the design, this pen, they can see every detail in the product. So I think they yeah, they may be proud with every product they
yeah.
they have done. So I think yeah, I
So,
think yeah,
yeah, actually, it depends. I think so, because when it
yeah,
comes to different maybe fields and job, maybe
yeah,
sometimes it
yeah, yeah,
can't be,
yeah,
yeah, sometimes
yes,
yes, sometimes no, maybe it doesn't work. So of course,
yeah,
employee ownership, that is perfect, but not in every field. So I think maybe
yeah,
for
yeah,
some businesses, yeah, it can't be really practical. So it's better not to do it.
yeah.
Well, let's see. We have some words here. Find the four forms of the word employee. So we have in the article, identify the word form, verb, adverb, adjective, or noun, and define each one. So complete the table. So self-employed, word form, definition. Okay, so let's see if this one is
Mm.
uh, actually, noun is verb. Okay. So self-employed, what do you think?
Self employ, I think it's now.
No, well, let me say something. Normally, when we have
Mm.
ed or d, because we
Yeah.
have employee and
Mm.
employ, now we have employed. Of course,
Mm.
employed can be, past participle of verb or passive
Yeah.
form, but here self-employed can play the role of adjective here. So it's, yeah, of course, when you work for yourself, self-employed, okay,